Okay, cool.
So,
My name is Dawid Mocke, and you're standing in my store, the paddling centre here in Fishhook, Cape Town, South Africa. And would love for all of you watching the clip to give us a visit down here in Cape Town. Perhaps you can come and do some races down here. I'm a professional, or let's say a semi-professional paddler. I make a living out of paddling. So I've been coaching paddling in the surf ski school since 2003, and it's 2003 we started the surf ski school, coaching surf ski paddling on Fishhook Beach, and it's been going ever since. Since then we've started two other schools, one in Durban, one in Port Elizabeth, and then the bulk of my time is made up of training and going to races internationally.
okay.
So when I say I'm a semi-professional paddler, that's what I mean.
Okay. So what are you on about as a paddler? You were talking the other day about you were reading some books about positive thoughts and things like that. What drives you, I guess?
Yeah, well, if you look at my life choices, to paddle for a living, the number one thing there was to follow my passion, and despite what some would say glaringly obvious reasons why you shouldn't be able to make a living from it, and I don't believe in that, and I operate on faith.
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt strongly that that's the way that I was being led. Spiritually I'm a Christian, and I thought that through lots of prayer and petition, or despite it being a hard decision, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and do this for a living. And that was that's almost 8 to 9 years ago.
Yeah. So you're arguably one of the best paddlers in the world, and once you get to that level, then what's the separation? What do you think you draw on to go that little bit faster?
Yeah, now if we're talking about competition, about competing,
yeah.
As far as surf ski paddling goes, I've always maintained that it's a very mature sport, in that the level of competition and the amount of paddlers or the amount of athletes at that level there's a wide array, and the guys are very fit. And it's right up there with any other sport. So the amount of training that I need to put in, that any other guy needs to put in to win a race is up there with any sort of high level sport. And when you look at a race, any given race around the world, there will be a number of guys that can win that race. So if you go to a big international race, you're looking at 5-6 guys that can win that event. And to me, that's one of the indications of a mature sport, and that there's always more than one guy that can win an event. Now, when you're competing at this level, you know that the amount of training you've put in, chances are the guy next to you has put in exactly the same amount of training, and a lot of performance happens up here, and there's so many things that go into that. People talk about the will to win, or they talk about competing in the zone. All those things are things that I believe can be practiced. They are things that I believe can be worked on, that you can train them, and I wouldn't be the first sportsman to pay particular attention to that.
Dawid opts to paddle further across backline in order to have a direct run at the finish, forcing him to negotiate his way over a few waves before choosing an appropriate wave to surf all the way to the beach. A few meters back, and Matt realizes that his only chance of a win now is to take a gamble and turn and head directly to shore. The gamble could see him struggle in the surf zone, as he has to paddle across the waves to the finish, or alternatively could see him finish too far down the beach and a long way from the finish line. As expected, Matt exits the water first, but Dawid has a more direct line and skillfully grabs his boat for the flat-out dice to the line. Just before the line in the sand, Matt lunges, but Dawid has done enough to claim victory by mere centimeters. An unbelievably thrilling finish to one of the most competitive World Cup races of all time. Totally shattered, both paddlers drop to the sand as they contemplate the epic tussle over the last 2 hours and 16 minutes.
It was unbelievably hard. I gotta tell you, I pulled away from Matthew about 3 or 4 times, and every time he just came back. I mean, that was an unbelievable race. It took huge mental strength from both of us, you know, because he pulled away a couple of times, I caught up, then I pulled away, then he caught up. That was a race to end all races, that, tell you what. Woo!
So how would you train? Like, can you give us 1 or 2 tips on how you would train that sort of thing?
Well, sports psychology is a very big field. So first of all, do quite a bit of reading, because there's quite a few very good books on the mind of an athlete, and yes, or psychology, you know, directed at sports. And there's a few exercises that you can do. You know, how you approach each event, how you approach winning. You know, one of the biggest lessons that I learned was to redefine my definition of what it means to win. So if your definition is outcomes based, first, second, third, fourth. Obviously, when you're competing in an event, when your goal is to win the race, is you want to be number 1. And if that is your goal and your sole definition of winning, guaranteed you're going to be disappointed a hell of a lot in your life. And every time you get disappointed, you know, that's got knock-on effects on how you see yourself, how you live your life. And I decided to change my definition of winning to performance-based. So, and there's a couple of things that I've put into that definition, such as in preparation for an event, I want to make sure that I've done at least 90% of what I set out to do before I get to an event, so that now at least when I get there, I've won in that aspect. I arrive at an event knowing that I've prepared, so I've already reached the goal. I've already done what I've set out to do in that aspect. Secondly, you know, I'm never going to put competition ahead of relationships. So that's, you know, you can make certain decisions in a race, and before a race and after a race, with your competitors. If competition at any stage is going to ruin a relationship with someone, then you need to reassess how important competition is getting to you. So I'd like to be on a good speaking terms with all my competitors. In fact, even more than speaking terms. So I'd like to be good friends with them. That's another definition of winning. And then you know, performance. When you get to an event, there's so many different variables in a surf ski race. Conditions, you know, distance. I can't control how well someone else is paddling. You know, recently the Durban World Cup, I was at a level that I felt was at my best, and you know, I came third in that event. But I was happy with it because I could not control how well Hank McGregor was paddling, and it was phenomenally well. So for me, you know, I won at that race, even though I came third. Dubai Shamal last year I came second, and that was a very, very tough race for me. I had to claw my way back to the front guys, and you know, Ben Allen pulled away right at the end. I came second, but there was nothing I could have changed in that race, nothing. And so it's pointless being disappointed after that. Now, if my goal for that race was I'm going to win this race, well, I would have been disappointed. So right back to the beginning, you know, how you approach a race, you know, you can redefine what it means for you to win. And in sports today, you know, it's all about one-upmanship. It's all about putting yourself ahead of someone else, and not just in sports, in business and everything. And it seems that there's a loss of integrity in this world. And I believe if you compete without that kind of integrity, then you're not going to get everything that you can out of sports.